Hey guys, Harry here and welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to talk about 5 tips for running in the wind. Now running in the wind, obviously very tricky depending on how strong it is. It can severely affect your performance, probably more than any other weather condition. So I'm going to give you a few tips to hopefully kind of combat the best you can, of course, the wind when it comes up in your either races or training. So let's get into it. Tip number 1, obviously this tip's a bit harder nowadays, but hopefully it'll change in a few months. Run with a group. Now obviously at the minute we've got 2 metre social distancing and you can only run with a group of 6 in the UK. But when life kind of hopefully returns to normal and you can run with more people, even if it's just 3, 4, 5 people, you can use each other to draft and really reduce that wind kind of resistance against you. It can make a huge difference, especially in races, but also training. Obviously the person at the front is going to be doing the most kind of work, pushing against the wind, and the people behind are doing less, obviously. Similar to how it would be in cycling, with that aerodynamic effect from behind. Forget the exact term for it, but yeah, obviously in a velodrome, when the cyclists are going around, they position themselves right behind the cyclist to get that draft effect, so the people behind are working less hard than the people in front. So yeah, it works as well in running, maybe not as well, but still definitely a good little tip to help you against the wind. Tip number 2 is to do with what you wear. Now obviously wind, depending on the strength, might have an effect on the clothes you wear, and it's probably going to be making it move about a lot depending on how baggy it is, but yeah, that's the tip basically. Wear some more tight fitting clothes, whether that's t-shirts, shorts, whatever it is, gloves, whatever it is. Make sure it's not too baggy and flapping around. The last thing you want is, you know, your t-shirt going into your face or just whatever it is flying around. So get clothes that fit tightly, not going to be moving around, and the wind will have less of an effect, and they'll probably keep you warmer as well if the wind is a bit chilly. Tip number 3 is all about kind of embracing it and actually reaping the benefits of running in the wind. Obviously running in the wind's harder than running without wind, so yeah, in your head you've just got to kind of accept it a lot of the time. Accept you are going to be slower on that training run or that race. There's pretty much nothing you can do about it, but also you can turn it into a positive in 2 ways. 1, because that training is harder, when it comes to easy conditions it might actually prepare you better, and 2, it'll give you that little mental kind of advantage. Whenever you come to a race and it's windy, you can say to yourself, I've done this before in training, it was hard, but I got through it and I know I can do it again. So yeah, turn it into a positive if you can. Use it as some resistance training, and yeah, obviously depending on which direction the wind is going, it might be a headwind, meaning it's coming into you, or a tailwind, meaning you're using it. So wind can actually be a positive. If it's behind you, then you should actually go quicker. But yeah, if it's coming at you, use it as a positive anyway. And just remember, not every race is going to be super windy, so there will be the odd one that's a bit dodgy for weather conditions. You just got to accept it. 4th tip is to do with technique. When you run into the wind, obviously as it's pushing against you, you can tackle this a bit by slightly leaning forward into it. Usually you wouldn't do this because obviously you'd be a bit kind of off balance, but with the wind adding that force against you, you leaning forward actually doesn't matter too much, and it will help you against the wind. Just make sure when you do this, your shoulders are still nice and relaxed to avoid any upper back kind of pain. But yeah, just lean forward a little bit more than usual, and you'll be able to tackle the wind a bit more effectively. Tip number 5 is just be sensible with it. Obviously most of the time when you go out in windy conditions, there's not really any problems, especially if it's light wind or even fairly strong wind. You're not going to come into trouble. But if it is kind of stormy conditions, trees blowing about, branches being knocked off, you've got to be careful of that, and maybe reconsider doing your run at all if it is dangerous. If you've got a treadmill at home, that's absolutely fine, you can do that instead, and even if you have to miss a run or slightly delay it, it's not the end of the world, of course, so don't worry about that too much. But that's very rare, obviously in the UK, that we have conditions where it's so windy that you can't run. But yeah, be sensible, and just take that into account. Anyway guys, hopefully you've enjoyed that video. Let me know if you do. Let me know if you agree with the tips I gave, or if you didn't, or if you've got any more, I'd love to hear them. As always, feel free to leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and don't forget to check out my Instagram in the description. But apart from that, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.